Hey everybody, this is Ethan Crane again. I'm down here in Hammond, Louisiana on the Natalbany River, right down here, right below the train tracks. It's kind of nice little view here. It's kind of nice to get out in nature. I love it. It makes me feel a lot better. It feels like you're just new after you come out here. But yeah, I always try and get out here when I can. And oh yeah, I'm Ethan Crane. This is the Nephew of Sam Vodcast. And yeah, I haven't did one of these in a while. I did one, but then I just didn't put it out there because I was having some technical problems and I didn't really like it, so I didn't put it out. So this is I think this is number 4. If you count the other one, it's number 5, but we'll just call it number 4. So yeah, I'm out here, and yeah, this is beautiful out here. Life is good. Nice weather, and I think it's in the upper 70s. Crazy thing is, I was up north just yesterday driving in snow and ice. So it's how fast things change around here. But anyways, yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and walk back up to my truck, and I think we're gonna take this little trail back up here to my truck. And so a lot of you guys are wondering, probably wondering like what's it like being a trucker out here on the road in 2020 during COVID-19. And it's a little strange, a little odd. Things are different. I do appreciate all the thank yous I get for being a trucker and being out here. But yeah, things are a little different. A lot of truckers, they're kind of upset. They think we're being mistreated out here, and in some ways maybe we are. One of my friends just in Mitchell, Illinois yesterday couldn't get food at the Hardee's because they wouldn't let him go through the drive-thru because he didn't have a car, and they have semi-truck parking there at the Hardee's, but he couldn't go in. And he had to, I guess, I don't know what he did, but he did something. But yeah, they wouldn't let him. So stuff like that, so a lot of the restaurants are closed down, so it makes it a little tough on us. But there's I haven't been making as much money as I normally do doing this stuff, and it's just kind of different out here. A lot of times at the shippers or the consignees, especially for live loads and live unloads, that's where we have to wait for them to unload our trailer for us before we can leave, or load our trailer for us before we can leave. Those have been taking a while sometimes, or we get to a place and our trailer's not ready yet. And it's just, it's different out here. A lot of places are having problems. A lot of them a lot of places that are loading the trucks are having the staff problems. A lot of people aren't coming into work because they're scared. Especially down here in Louisiana. Like I said, I'm in Louisiana. I'm right by New Orleans. It's that way. Anyways, but yeah, it's a little crazy down here. People are kind of freaked out. New Orleans, I think, from what I heard on the news, I'm no expert, but they said that New Orleans has the biggest not New Orleans, but New Orleans too. Yeah, I mean, New Orleans, Louisiana has the biggest outbreak per capita of any state in the country. And it had a lot to do with the Mardi Gras celebrations and parades and stuff like that. They didn't shut down, and a lot of people close parameter to each other, breathing each other's air, stuff like that. And so yeah, it's pretty bad down here. I was down here just last week, and I had a 12-hour wait just to get loaded. And I really don't get paid much money when I'm sitting around. I like to be driving, making my money, get my hours, getting closer to home. But wait 1 second, let me put you on pause. All right, I'm back. Sorry, I had to go to the back of my truck because the sun was shining right in my window, and it was really weird. I got a weird shadow in here too, don't I? Anyways, maybe I'll do a little light like this, and I'll shed a little bit of that. That's a little bit better. Anyways, so I'm here in the back of my sleeper berth, and what was I talking about? I was talking about just, how things have been kind of crazy down here in Louisiana, Chicago, been there a lot, been to Dallas, been all over the place, been to Ohio, stuff like that, been all around. And yeah, things are different out here. I know a lot of our freight at first, we're getting slammed, so we were just moving, and now the freight is slowing down. So I don't know how it's going to affect us in the long run, but some things there's a lot of freight demand for, some things there's not. Some things are having supply issues where they can't get the product to produce it and put it together so they can put it on trucks and send it out to stores. And so there's a lot of that stuff's going on, and it's just I'm not sure what's going to happen. But right now I got a job. I'm thankful for that, and I'm making money, and I'm supporting my family, and we're doing all right. And so I hear a lot of truckers, they're talking about, they're complaining because, the truck stops aren't like they used to be, and they're getting treated unfairly because we had to go to porta potties a lot, and the restaurants aren't open, and sometimes they can't find food. And I get it, it's tough, but I never really depended much on the rest areas or truck stops anyways. I'm out here, I pretty much carry all the food and everything I need. I got my cooler down here. You can probably see my cooler. And I got a bunch of food in here. I carry this thing of water. So I got a big jug of water. And so I can brush my teeth, and I can use some baby wipes to wash up, because I'm not using I'm not going to use the showers right now. I don't want to. Pretty much what I'm doing is I'm just doing my social distancing best I can, and one of those things I'm doing is not taking showers out here on the road. So I gotta go about 5 or 6 days without a shower, which it's not the worst. I mean, I've been out hunting and camping before, and sometimes you just don't get to take a shower for a long time. And but we're just doing things. I got my baby wipes, so I can take a sailor bath with baby wipes. I call it cleaning my stink spots. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. I got my cooking stuff up there. I got my coffee maker, I got my Keurig machine, and I got my little mini George Foreman grill, and I got a hot plate, so I can cook out here. I got my little speaker here hanging up so I can watch my movies on my tablet. I'm not one of the fortunate truckers that have a TV with a satellite radio or satellite TV in his truck, but that's all right. This is the new era. We don't even need TVs anymore. We got these tablets. We got all these devices we carry around with us. But yeah, I hear a lot. The other day I was listening to a trucker. He was just complaining, about how mad he is because he's out here and how rough it is, and it's hard to find food, and sometimes you gotta use a porta potty, and he just doesn't feel he's getting the respect that he deserves as a trucker. And which, in some ways that's true. we're not getting hazard pay or nothing. Maybe our company, we're out here making sacrifices. Maybe our company makes some sacrifices. Maybe they already are making sacrifices. I don't know. But what I do know is I was in the military, and I served my country then, and I really didn't do much. I painted stuff gray. I was in the Navy. I was a deckhand, and the main thing we do is just remove rust and paint it gray. But and we did anchor drops and mooring down ships and steering the ship and staying on watches, stuff like that. All the sailor stuff. But anyways, I'm not a sailor anymore. I forgot most of that stuff. But anyways, and this is just an opportunity again. My country needs me, and I'm serving them. This is how I'm serving them. I'm serving them by going out and keeping freight moving. And it's not just me that's keeping the freight moving. We have everyone in logistics keeping the freight moving. We have the people in the call centers. We have my fleet manager. We have my planners. We have people that are the custodians there at the terminals where everyone's working at. We got the people at the warehouses. People at Walmart. We got all these people. We got people working on forklifts. I know a lot of times when I used to be a forklift driver, and that's a tough job, and those guys are working hard too. And all those people working in there and putting loads together, they're probably working a lot of overtime, and so I appreciate everyone thinking truckers, but don't forget there's a big giant long line of people in logistics, and on both sides of logistics we got production on one side of logistics, and then we got retail on the other side. So we got those guys. They're heroes too. We're all being heroes, and at least I'm not in the medical field or first responder. Those people are going through it pretty rough, and putting themselves out there in danger, exposing themselves to the virus. I'm wearing my mask. I've got my hand sanitizer. Make sure I get my hand sanitizer on and clean that up, and just avoiding people for the most part. I don't have no need to be around people. There's no need for me to do that. Sometimes I have to. But the nurses are out there, the doctors, everyone, the janitors working in there, just everything. These everyone's a hero at this time. I mean, we all got to do our part. It's not just truck drivers or nurses or whatever it is, but we all got to do our part. Most of us are, for the most part. We're social distancing. We're staying locked down in our houses. We're doing what we have to do, and we're all heroes. I mean, this is a time in our country where we're depending on everyone. Everyone has to do their part. Whatever their part is, we all got to do it. We all got to come together and just put the political differences aside and just work together. And, there was things in the past that didn't work out right, and some things did, and we got to give credit where credit's due and where it's not due. But these things, we never get these things right. Maybe they had a better government, but then again, we live in the best country in the world, and we're in the best country in the world to handle this situation. Bill Clinton, he said something to this. Let's see where, let me see if I can find this. Here we go. Bill Clinton. This is something Bill Clinton once said, and it's really brilliant, and I don't care what you think about Bill Clinton. You love him, you hate him, you don't care for him. What he said here is brilliant, and it's nails. It's right on. And he says, there is nothing wrong with America that cannot be cured by what is right with America. I'm going to read that again. There's nothing wrong with America that cannot be cured by what is right with America. And that's the truth. We've seen it many times in our history. We've seen it over and over that we're faced with a problem, we're faced with a dilemma, and we are a united country. When we get our backs against the wall, we get united, we get innovative, we get creative, we get hardworking, we start sacrificing, we start doing things that people thought was impossible. I think a great example of that is, World War II. We're kind of in another situation where it's all hands on deck again, just like World War II was, where everyone had to do their part. I'm not going to say exactly like World War II. There was a lot of things that were a lot worse about World War II, I would say. But one of the things I thought, just one small thing that we did right in World War II is, the Germans had the Panzer tank. And the Panzer tank was a super tank. You couldn't stop it. It was indestructible. There was nothing you could do. These things, a lot of times, if they could find out there was Panzer tanks, they would go around them and try and not have to deal with them at all. But one of the bad things about the Panzer tank is it took a lot of resources to make it. And they weren't manufactured in a way that you could take parts off one Panzer tank and put them onto another Panzer tank. You had to have like a specific mechanic, and you had the machinery and everything to make the parts for each Panzer tank. Well, the Americans enter the war, and they have the Sherman tank, and the Sherman tank is no match for a Panzer, not a match at all. A Sherman tank versus a Panzer tank is like cannon fodder. It's not going to last. That Panzer tank's going to go right through. That Panzer tank could actually probably just drive right up to it and just run it over if it wanted to. But the thing about the Sherman tank is that because of American ingenuity and our ability to not give up and to keep on going and do the impossible, we could build we built so many Sherman tanks that we could overwhelm the Panzer tanks. It took 13 Sherman tanks to take out one Panzer tank. Makes you think what those guys in those tanks, what their mentality was. Jeez, can you imagine going through that? But anyways, 13 of them, and that's what they did. We came together as a country, and we shut down the Panzer tanks, and we shut down the Germans, and we shut down the Japanese, and we did what we had to do. We came together, and that's what this country does. And I was thinking about, how it's kind of like it's all of our responsibility. It's all our part, and there's two things that we need to do right now. The first one, the story of the Good Samaritan in the Bible. There was this man, one of the leaders of the law. He came up to Jesus, and he was a scholar of the law, leader of the law, whatever you want to call it. But he says, "What must I do to have eternal life?" And Jesus, he asked, and what is written? And Jesus said, "What is written in the law?" He replied, "How do you read it?" And the man said, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. And you have answered correctly, Jesus replied. Do this and you will live. But the man wanted to justify himself, so he asked Jesus, and who is my neighbor? You see, what we have here now, we have this religious guy. And he's asking Jesus a question. He's trying to get Jesus. He's trying to justify himself. He's trying to prove Jesus wrong. All this stuff. And he asked him, what must I do to have eternal life. And Jesus explains to him, the two key things in the Bible is, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. Those that commandments right there is something that the whole Bible, what we believe as Christian, hinges on. And so the man asks, like, well, who's my neighbor? And so Jesus realizes he's a religious man, and he has his things that makes him feel important because he's religious, and he also has people he doesn't like. He has people he wants to justify not liking, like we have in our culture. We have people you want to justify not liking. I think one good example of that is if someone's on the opposite side of the aisle from you or has different political views, we want to not like them, and that's just wrong, because, man, there's so many good people on all sides, and so many good people just with really good intentions and really good hearts, and trying to make sense of it all. And I'm no professional. I got my views, but I'm just a truck driver. I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyways, and so pretty much the story of the Good Samaritan is, there's two religious guys. They come along. The first one was, I think the first one was the Levite, and he, religious leader, big guy in the church, comes along. He doesn't have time. He moves alongside and keeps on going. And then the other guy that came along, he was the minister, and he comes along, and he doesn't have time to deal with them. Did I say the Good Samaritan got beat up? Okay, first of all, the Good Samaritan, a lot of you guys already know this story. Or not the Good Samaritan. The man was beat up and robbed. And he was beaten pretty bad. They took his clothes, they took his money, they took everything he had. And he's just laying there naked, beaten. Okay, so fast forward back to the religious guys. Fast forward towards the religious guys. And so they come along, and they have nothing to do with them because, they got important stuff to do. They're religious people. People are relying on them. People are counting on them. They gave someone their word that they're going to be there on time to preach a message or open the doors of the church and get things ready or whatever it was, or the temple. And they had to get there. Well, comes along the Good Samaritan. Now, the Good Samaritan was a person not liked. Samaritans were not people liked by Jews. The Samaritan came along, and he saw him, and he took him, and he had pity on him, and he helped him. And he gave him water, he got him on his donkey, he carried him to the inn, paid the innkeeper, said take care of him, and whatever's left over, whatever else you need, I'll come back and I'll pay, stuff like that. And he made sure this man was taken care of. And then Jesus asked, which of these three do you think was the neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of robbers? And, what could you say to that? And the expert of the law replied, the one who had mercy on him. Jesus told him, go and do likewise. Why did I bring up the story of the Good Samaritan? Because right now is not a time to prove how spiritual and how religious or how great we are. It's a time to help each other out, be there for each other. I know sometimes it's kind of constricted on what we can do to help each other, but it's very important we do, because right now some people are having it harder than I am, and they don't have a job, they don't have anything to do, they can't get to the groceries, they can't get toilet paper, all sorts of stuff like that. And what we need to do is we need to help each other. That's the most important thing, second most important thing we need to do right now. And the first most important thing is we need to turn to God. There's a lot of things that God's teaching us through this time. We're starting to value things that are important, like family. We're starting to value, things like food and toilet paper. Just how good we have it here. How we live in the best country in the world, or at least, let's just say, at least the top 5 countries in the world. We'll give you, some of you guys don't want to say we're the top. We're in at least top 5 countries in the world. I think we're number 1. Innovative wise, art wise, entertainment wise, generosity wise, all sorts of wises. We got it, we're doing it. We are in the tops, and we're starting to see that. We're starting to see how good we had it. The things we were complaining about, the things we were upset about, was it really that bad? I don't think it was. I think it's just we had it so good. We're just complaining about other things that weren't really that bad, and I guess that's a good thing too, because we're in this country, we're a type of people that even when things are good, we know we can be better, and so that's a good thing. I'm looking at it, but also we need to turn to God. We need to see, how grateful we are for what we have here in this country, and how when you're blessed and when you're a person of privilege like we are here in this country, A lot of us, even more privileged than other people in this country, we use that privilege to help other people. And we don't take it for granted. But in John 16:33 it says, I have told you these things, so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. I'm not going to say anything more to that. I'm just going to read it again like I like to do anyways, but I'm going to say, I have told you these things, so that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. All this stuff that's going on, God has overcome it. He's overcome the world. Turn to God. And as a country, I'm going to leave you with this. And before I leave you with this, I want to remind you, if you like this Vodcast, go ahead and like it, share it, comment, go to subscribe to my YouTube page. Anything you can do to make me feel like maybe I should keep on doing this. Anyways, I'm going to leave you this last thing. This is what President Abraham Lincoln, I know you're all going to recognize this. It says, this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Thank you for watching. Keep your eyes on the prize. Godspeed, and fight the good fight.